sounds better too.
We're achieving equitable learning conditions.
Good morning, good morning.
Communities in Schools is all about. Learn more at communitiesinschools.org.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management. The Carl Nelson Show.
Hey, Grand Rising family, welcome to Monday, March the 3rd. Thanks for starting your week with us again. Later, Pan-Africanist. Dr. David Horn discussed Trump's tariffs. These new tariffs will start later this week. Before Dr. Horn, media experts Wayne Gilman and Reggie Thomas will weigh in on the Trump-Zelensky Oval Office showdown. But before we get to politics, DC Afrocentric professor Dr. Dawood, Malik Watts will check in. Momentarily, we'll kick off Women's History Month with financial advisor J.B. Bryan. Let me bring in Kevin here for a moment. Grand Rising, Kevin.
Hey, Grand Rising indeed, Carl Nelson, now with 50% more content. How you feeling?
Kevin, we lost another singer over the weekend. What's going on? This time it was Angie Stone?
Yes. Condolences and all of our sympathies for her and her family. Angie Stone, the soul singer who broke ground in hip-hop, dies at 63. The music world saddened, and her fans are mourning the sudden loss of Angie Stone, the Grammy-nominated R&B singer, who died Saturday morning in a car crash in Montgomery, Alabama. Her sultry voice resonated with multiple generations, and she began her music scene profession in the late 70s as a member of a hip-hop trio called The Sequence. And there are no details really about the accident that whether she was driving or someone else driving. It just, mostly this article in the NPR radio report just talks about her career. And I'm trying to find more details about it. She was due to perform at halftime for a college basketball championship game in Baltimore. Hours after the crash, the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association said, and the spectators observed a moment of silence at the game, and we are all heartbroken by this tragedy and the sudden passing of Angie Stone, a member of the Zeta Phi Beta sorority, a community activist, role model, and a mother whose soulful artistry and spirit made an indelible mark in her community. She will be
one of the things, Kevin, she joins the list of recently departed singers, Jerry Butler, Chris Jasper, Gwen McCrae, Roberta Flack, and now Angie Stone. It seems like we can't get a break. It seems like every week somebody's dropping out.
And of course, you're speaking of the fact that they are public figures, and so no man can stop the time. When
you're quoting Bob Marley's "It's early in the morning."
It's early in the morning. Yeah, that line always seems to come back each time we mention.
But it's real.
Yeah, and then there's Gene Hackman. I know we're talking about notable African Americans, but I'm shocked at the death of Gene Hackman too, because of the mystery of that one. And of course, the car accident. Chris Jasper was pretty young as well. And so when you look at it, we take a didactic look at the way people are leaving the planet. Then it makes you wonder as well, wait, am I eating right? Am I driving safely? Am I making sure I'm in a safe environment? It does make one stop and think. So these are the times that try men's soul.
Well, I'm like Tony Browder on this one, Kevin. Whenever your cosmic assignment is fulfilled, that's when you're out of here. And so,
right.
Don't distress it when people leave, because they've completed their assignment. And that's for all of us. As soon as we completed our assignment, whatever we're placed on this planet to do, then you move on to the next level.
Yes, sir. And that was pretty profound as well. But let's introduce to some and present to others the lovely J.B. Bryan. How about that?
That's
Good.
right. Of course. And I wonder if she's working out this morning. Grand Rising, JB.
That's
Welcome to the program.
That's right. I came here to salute my girl from Sequence. She was that was my group. I'm going to funk you right on up. Funk you right on up. Y'all don't remember that, do you? You just don't know about Angie B. Yeah, Angie Stone was a pioneer. She was before she was Angie Stone. She was Angie B with Sequin. I'm gonna funk you right on up. That's what we're gonna do this morning, y'all.
Maybe it's the way you're singing.
Get funky with it. Get funky with it. That's right.
And JB, that's why we chose you to start our Women's History Month.
That's right. That's right.
You'd bring the funk.
All the way. Yes, indeed. We have to stay strong till the very end. Like you said, tomorrow is not promised. So let's max out today. Let's max it out.
That's right.
Indeed. For the sisters who ain't here.
For a second here, JB.
Yes.
You know, folks are losing their jobs. And we know, when you get a job, the first thing, when you just start, thinking about you're going to leave soon. But at every point, everything ends. You're not going to work forever. You're not going to work at that place forever. You're not going to be here forever. So you've got to make, as soon as you start, you've got to make preparations for your exit. But many people don't do that.
Very good.
And now with the federal workers, JB, and we got a lot in our listening audience. They have a deadline. Elon Musk is giving them a deadline to report the 5 things, I guess, what you have done over the past weeks or whatever, or days. He wants to see that report. And he's threatening to fire folks if they don't show up. So we got you here this morning, JB. We asked you to come in. So maybe you can give them some tips on what they should be doing, or what should have done, and what can they do after they get that pink slip.
Very good point. Very good point. And we're not going to, if you get it, it is not the worst case scenario. So we need to talk about what really is the worst case scenario and responding. I know that we have a lot of AfroEconomics members that are federal employees, and they have been preparing for any times such as this. That's the point. We've talked about it several times. I remember late last year, I was talking about the high percentage of our community that has decided to pursue careers with the federal or with the state or with, county municipalities. And I think you don't realize that it's still just a job, and that we still need to be prepared for if I have an untimely dismissal, what do I do? And then also accountability. And I think that if we look at the positive of this is just an employer asking, what are the 5 things that we did? And I would argue that most of the people that work for the federal government are already reporting something like that to their supervisor. So it's not a big challenge, but it's about perspective. And I believe that a big part of our financial and our money matters and our life in general is our mental capacity to see that it's mind over matter in everything in life, everything from parenting, to pension planning. It's about mind over matter.
So having said that, JB, let's take the ones who are still on the job and
yes.
They're concerned about losing that job, and maybe their sole source of income.
That's right.
What should they be doing, or it's hard to say what they should have done.
There you go.
That's gone. So
yes,
let's deal with those who probably haven't been preparing for this, because a lot of them, I think, didn't think this day would happen, but those of them who listen to this program probably heard that this was going to happen, because we've been talking about this for a few years, that there's a possibility, a high possibility this was going to happen.
Every day.
What do you say to those folks?
Everybody on your way to work, you need to realize that someone is going to work today and the door is going to be locked. They don't get the chance to talk to Carl Nelson about it, though. There are a lot of people every day that lose their job, that are downsized, get an email that says your job has ended. I have clients all the time throughout my long, extensive financial service career repeatedly. So this is not a surprise to me. It's not, this is alert. We are, when you're working with a financial professional, and I hope that most of you are, you should reach out to your financial professional and say, okay, let's plan for the worst case scenario. And their response should be, that's what we do always. That's what financial planning is all about. You should, as we've talked about, even through COVID, how important the emergency fund is. A person can get a job, but if you're disabled, we have a different concern. But getting a job, doing something else to create income, that is not as big a challenge as we want to accept. Now, you may not have that same job, but I need to do work on positioning you for, you have your emergency fund. That's what we have the emergency fund for. We have this money here.
Yeah,
so
and hold
that,
on thought right there, JB.
Mhm.
It's 10 after the top of the hour.
That's right.
For the folks just waking up, financial advisor JB Bryan is our guest. And JB, are you broadcasting live again?
Yes,
are you
indeed.
across the
On
social media platform?
all of the favorite social media platforms. Search Carl Nelson, JB Bryan, live streaming right now. So definitely, hopefully you'll continue to follow us both. But yes, I'm streaming
Right. And you
live.
want to see what JB looks like? Check it out. Check it out. I haven't reached it yet, but I know I'm going to reach it.
That's
But,
right.
JB, again, you've been telling us that you need to have an emergency
Yes.
fund. I mean, you've been saying that probably
Yes.
since you started.
Yes.
And there's so many people who don't, the money comes in and it goes out it's almost before
That's right.
their paycheck is
That's
clear.
right.
They're spending that money.
The most
How much of
yes. Emergency.
how much of a fund should we have? How much money should you have in this reserve fund?
At least 90 days. And some people probably thought that 90 days was too much until now you see that's giving yourself 90 days to get another job. But now, if you're still working, this is a time to save. And the interesting thing about the boycott on Friday was, I hope that it made people think about, do I waste a lot of money? Because I had no intention on spending any money on Friday anyway. So it wasn't a boycott day for me. Like, if I was going to buy anything on Friday, it was going to be the things that on the boycott list said that you could buy, like you could eat, But I eat out of my own refrigerator as much as possible, or take my food around. I got some nuts and some cheese in my bag, to eat. Like we spend way too much. And if the boycott itself was effective, it's because we do a lot of unnecessary spending, and we really need to think about that. How
we don't use the word boycott here, though. We're trying to be more financial conscious.
That's right.
Blackout.
That's right. Or blackout or that.
Or selective purchasing.
That's right.
Exactly.
We should always
Right.
be that way, though. My point is that you would basically say I didn't participate because I wasn't buying anything anyway. So and that is the point of, we really should be that way. And I think that it would be great if the emphasis was on financial empowerment instead of, like more about what we should be doing with our dollars on this day. Invest with Black investment firms instead of spending more money, and then actually I would have gotten some business, it wasn't like my phone was busier on Friday. What are we doing with the dollars? Are we saving? Or do you have an emergency fund? I think that empowerment is so much better than always getting us to focus on negativity. No. And I because there is so much good that we could do. How about if it was volunteer day, mentor day? I remember making a post a couple of days ago about a family member that is entering the Secret Service. There were about 10 Black men that reached out to me and said, if he needs any help, let me know. If there's anything I could do, I work here at the White House. I have a friend that's on, this and this and that. Really reached out. That to me is how we build wealth, how we build a community, how we build a society, how we make the world a better place. Trying to harm one another because of different ideologies, is not a wealthy person that we make. I saw the other day, and someone said, and it wasn't a Black person, and she said into the camera in the news, the billionaires are the problem of the world. So not homelessness, not a livable wage that was promised and was never given. What is the problem? No, those aren't the problems. She said the problem is the billionaires. Now, I think that type.
But JB, let's get back to these folks who were waking up this morning and not going to work, or today may be their last days.
Tell them the billionaire is not the problem. The problem is that we're not saving.
Though, JB, you waking up and you have no savings. They haven't been listening to you. They haven't been saving for that rainy day. They've been blowing through their money. Probably bought a new car. Bought a new home.
If they work for the
paycheck to paycheck.
The blessing and the reason that is created for a federal employee is because they are so blessed and they don't see it. Many. They're so blessed that they know that if they stop working, they have a retirement fund that basically, as they walk in the door, forces them to start saving into it. And then they match into it. And then if they don't put any more into it, then it's our fault. But they have also, if they've worked there, they're accumulating a pension at the same time as getting a match into the retirement account. So yes, it is a good job if you use it in the right way and don't spend every dime that you make. At the same time, there are people who are taking loans on their retirement account constantly, even though we have advised on the Carl Nelson show, don't take out loans. If you lose that job and you can't pay that back, it is a taxable event for you taking out that money from your account. So I think that it is about now, what do I learn? Because I've been through some bad stuff in my life. Everything you go through, in my opinion, is a learning opportunity. If you're blessed enough to have that job and to have had that security, for especially those that have had it for a long period of time. I remember early in my career, I would meet people that have worked at the federal government for 30 years and who have basically saved nothing into the retirement account available to them at work because they were depending completely on that pension providing their lifestyle going forward, which it's not designed to replace your income going forward. It's a fraction of your income going forward. So it makes it even more important for you to be saving something on your own. And this is for everybody. What is the saddest part about this is that this happens to corporate people, Black people in corporate America every day, all the time. Nobody is concerned. So federal employees to that point have better protection than the average worker out here who is laid off all the time and is just covered as a blip on the news. Now, this anticipation. Now, Carl, the worst part about it is that it became a political issue to not give them severance pay. So severance package was offered. Anybody that doesn't want to work here, sign this. You could get 6 to 7 months of pay. What happened to that, Carl? What happened to that?
Did they take it off the table?
But who took it off the table? Not the administration.
That's where we get.
Not the administration. It was taken off the table by the opposition. They kicked the employees in the stomach, in my opinion. That is the biggest kick in the stomach. I have never in my life seen the federal government, and I have worked over 30 years in financial services. The federal government has never offered severance package like that. That's corporate America type stuff. 7 months, 6 to 7. Somebody's out there was 6 months. Okay, 6 months of severance pay. And it was taken off the table because of political anger, I guess. And nobody's concerned about the worker. That was a good deal for someone that wants to get out. It was a great deal, and it's gone now. So as if it was taken off the table through legal.
Right, and hold that thought right there,
Yes.
JB. We got to step aside for a few moments, but yeah. So let's try and help some of these folks because they have that alternative.
They
now
need
it's
to get
gone.
the union.
Now their
No,
jobs may be
no, it's
gone
not.
as early as today.
They can
So
go
what
get the
can you
union.
when we get back,
That's
JB?
right.
Tell them what can you tell them what they should be doing.
Go to
if
the
they're out the
union.
door.
That's right.
Locked out. Tell them what when we get back. Tell them what they should be doing. Family, you too can join
Right.
a discussion with JB Bryan. Reach out to us at 800-450-7876. We'll take the call next.
I'm JB Bryan, the creator of AfroEconomics, a strategic financial empowerment program based on 10 timeless financial principles like generational wealth and legacy, financial knowledge, credit confidence, entrepreneurship, self-reliance, and more. AfroEconomics gives you the guidance and tools you can use to develop and sustain wealth. Check out AfroEconomics on your favorite social media platforms. You will find us everywhere. Plus, enjoy my weekly AfroEconomics podcast. There are many levels of AfroEconomics membership, including the free online access membership level called No Excuses. So make no excuses and check out AfroEconomics.com today. Powered by JB Bryan Financial Group, Incorporated, a registered investment advisory firm. Hashtag AfroEconomics.
Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Light a candle for some wine. Grab a roll, soft kind for a little me.
I appreciate you all. Yes, indeed, Miss Bussy. That's right. Go to that union. Tell that union to get that severance back on the table.
Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Hair has the same softness you love. Now with wavy edges that tear better than
That's
the
right.
brand. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-4209. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com.
Oh my goodness.
Or call 800-575-4209. That's
What is good?
800-575-4209. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
Grand Rising family, thanks for waking up with us on this Monday morning. We're kicking off Women's History Month with JB Bryan. JB is a financial advisor. And later this week, actually, we're going to have some more outstanding sisters. Dr. A, who's a medical doctor and holistic doctor, will join us. Also, one of Harriet Tubman's relatives, Tanita Cuff, will be here as well. So make sure if you're in Baltimore, your radio's locked in tight on 1010 WLB. If you're in the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL. All right, and JB's broadcasting all across social media, so if you just put her name in and you'll see JB's lovely face. So we're discussing this morning what to do, because today many federal workers, they have to turn in their report to Elon Musk or they may get fired. And some have already been let go across the country. And this applies to everybody, not just federal workers, but we know we have a lot of federal employees in our listening audience. So, JB, you got the pink slip. What's your next move?
You know how many days ago I would have sent him those 5 things? I wouldn't even have been able to get past one day with 5 things. He only asked for 5 things. All my life, since I was 20-something years old, I have been hustling. I have never had a paid vacation, since I started this firm. I don't understand how we don't understand how hard some people out here are working. And it's not just me. There's a whole bunch of people working hard like this. I work 24/7. Christmas, Easter, birthdays, childbirth. Had my child on Friday. I was on Joe Madison's show on Monday. Carl, what in the world? We have to woman up, man up. Those 5 things should have been sent back. What is wrong? I don't understand anybody
Yeah, but JB,
black
what if
not
they failed to find,
responding. I don't understand.
because JB, let me jump in here for a second because Elon Musk didn't hire them. They work for the federal government.
Yes.
He's not a federal employee.
Yes.
So some people may take umbrage to that.
Isn't that
Why should
crazy?
it's like somebody coming into your office and start giving you orders.
Yes.
Who hired you? Who made you my boss?
When a
So
client gets married,
a little of that might be involved too.
anything could happen. A client gets married. I'm dealing with him. All of a sudden he gets married. He brings in this wife. I got to answer to her. A wife. She gets married. Someone else. She wants the person to be involved. I got to answer them. Kids, this and that. I mean, who in the world? If I want to eat, I answer to who they say I answer to. I remember one time this accountant did my client's tax return wrong. I found the error. I get on the phone with the accountant. The accountant says, with the client on the line, I'm not talking to her, and hangs up the phone. That's what we're doing. Whoever they hire, you have thousands of contractors at the federal government. So the issue with a contractor or Elon or employee or whatever he is totally inappropriate as an employee for us to be saying that. You know how many contractors have access to our information? Do you know how many black contractors there are? We should be looking at contract possibilities. This is a huge small business opportunity. Every time he cuts back staff, somebody got to do it. It's going to be contractors. We need to be looking at
All
business
right, let me jump in and ask you this again. Ask you this question, JB. Is there a way to take advantage of this situation? Is there any upside to what's going down now?
Yes. Answer the 5 questions, because it could have been 10 or 20. It could have been. So thank God for 5 questions. Answer the 5 questions. If you don't want to answer the 5 questions, then get out and start your own business. I ain't got to answer nobody's 5 questions, but nobody gives me paid vacation but me. So everything is a give and take. You don't want to answer? Then answer to somebody else, because your customers are going to answer. I might not answer to one person, but I answer to all my clients, all of them. And I'm going to tell you.
But so JB, at 28 after the top of the hour, JB, you're out. You and hundreds of thousands of other people are out at the same time.
Yes.
And you probably got similar skill set.
Yes.
And you're all looking for another job.
Yes.
Is this an opportunity to create your own experience and start your own business?
Yes.
If so, what kind of business can you start in the way this economy is unfolding right now?
Yes. And doing exactly what you were just doing, because what you did is still necessary. They just don't want to pay you for doing it. Now, if what you were doing can be replaced with a computer, then you seriously need additional skills. You need to have additional training. And we talked about this before any of this happened. We have been talking about this, that we got to skill up, that we got to level up. I do it all the time. I study all the time. And there's nobody got to tell me that. Because I want to eat. I want to educate my child. I want to be an example for my child. What type of example are we setting for these young people when we tell them we don't want to answer 5 questions to this white man because he up here telling you he got hired by the president and he ain't going to tell me what to do. I mean, literally, it doesn't work. If you could work at Wawa's and a new person gets hired, you got to answer to the new person. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. What in the world am I seeing from professionals? This is so inappropriate. And it don't have nothing to do with anything but just inappropriateness, because it is not professional. That is your boss, period. I don't care how we got there. Do you know what time I had this job? And this lady screwed my boss so good that he took my people from me. Not in financial services, doing something else. This woman comes along, would do stuff I wouldn't do. She got money. What did I do? Prepare to be somewhere else. Did I not? Could I say, no, you can't take my stuff and give this to this person that didn't do anything for it? That's my work.
Yeah, but JB, that's a one-on-one. We're
No,
talking
it's
about
not.
hundreds of
No, it's
thousands of
not. It's
people
the
now
same. They
competing
want.
for the same pie. They're out there
Yes.
on their butts with no
Yes.
jobs, and
But it's personally
they've got
to
bills
them.
to pay, and now they've got to move on.
They're taking it
this
personally.
This is a question I'm asking you at 30 minutes after the top of the hour, family, just waking up.
They feel personally screwed over.
Try to figure out how to help these folks. And this is what JB's a financial advisor. And if you're out, because she's been telling you for the longest, you need to have an emergency fund.
But that's not all. We gotta get.
There is a little comfort.
Yes.
But what if the folks who don't have an emergency fund, JB, what do they do?
When you got skills, do you think that stopped me from moving forward? Both of them make a fraction of what I make now. When you have skills and you're good at what you do and you move forward, it doesn't matter how many people, there's millions of people unemployed. Millions already. And there's someone that's going to get a job today and someone who's going to get a job the next second and the next second and the next second and the next second. There was like some report that said that the governor of Virginia said that, oh, we have jobs here. And people got offended because he said we have jobs in Virginia. I mean, literally, he's the boss of Virginia and he says we have jobs here. Do you know at the same time as someone was getting offended, somebody was sending the governor emails and holding him to that? Hi, sir, I need a job. I'm at so-and-so and so. I would prefer to work for you than over here because the best time to get a job is when you have a job. If you think that your job is going down, then get another job. That's why you need to go to the union. And this is back to just government employees right now. But there's a whole bunch of other companies that are cutting off employees every day doing the same thing. Now, but nobody seems to really be alarmed by them. I don't know why, but y'all just know that I love and help people across all careers. And I can help a person from federal government get into a corporate environment. And I can help a person from the federal government actively employed start their own business. If you want to lift your life to the next level, but it's going to have to be about having the mindset that 5 questions, that's all you want. 5 questions is all you want. Like, that's it. Like, but until you get to that point where it's like, all he wants is 5 questions, I already answered that. Because I'm going to tell you, there's a whole bunch of people who already answered it and they're getting looked upon very favorably. He said within 48 hours, it's been like what, a whole week? And when someone showed it to me, I said, is this a hack? They said, oh, no. It's they're saying it's from Elon, but it's not really from Elon. It's from all these, whatever the system that works under him. They're acting like it's like personally, he's going to look at everybody's response. No, it's going through the system. That's where we are now. It's a high-tech environment. And the computer is going to scan everybody's response and scan everybody's email and scan it. You're in it. You're in the system now. The system, if you choose to work in the system, allow the system, the union, there's a government employees union who should be protecting these people and getting that severance package back on the table if you care about federal employees. Now, if you only hate the administration, then you'll leave the severance package off the table because they don't want this administration to look like they did anything to help people. And it's sick because why can't they help people? If people need help and deserve help and they offered help, then the union needs to get back, apologize, regroup, do whatever is necessary for the workers and get them that severance package offer back. That's a good solution.
Right. Well, hold that thought right there because I got a tweet for you. I want you to respond to this at 26 away from the tweeter says the union cannot protect when the laws and contracts are being violated.
what? The union?
Yeah, the unions can't protect their members when the laws and the contracts are being violated.
Yes, that's the
Basically, he's
point.
saying that,
That's the point of the union, to protect the employees if their contract is being violated. What else is the union for? What is the union for? That's the point. They are to protect
but
you.
the point is, the tweeter is saying, this is a brother out in Buffalo, is saying that the union cannot protect them if
That's
those
not
are being
true.
violated.
But that's
and what he's saying that
but he's wrong.
Musk is just
But he's
not,
wrong.
adhering to the rules.
But that's the point of the union, to make sure that the rules are adhered to, not to take the severance package off the table. Okay, the reason people were told by supervisors, people told me their supervisor told them not to sign the severance. So their supervisor is actually in violation of that employee's best interest if that severance package is actually valid. And the union should be addressing that issue as well. How can a supervisor have the right to tell you ill-advised HR support information? Don't advise. I can tell you, don't sign anything. And then they get laid off with nothing. With nothing. So that is a huge issue for the union. That's the point of the union. If the contract, think about it. We have to start thinking. That is the only job of the union, to make sure that your contract is not violated. And if they're violating your contract, which it appears they're not, because the union is not saying anything, then this is what they're allowed to do, because there's lawyers everywhere. And you can't even assume that the administration doesn't know the law also. So it's just, doing that and putting down and forcing out the 6 to 7 month severance package was one of the worst violations of employees' best interests that I've ever seen in my entire career. Ever.
Yeah, but we sort of passed that now. So we need some more information about, for the folks who have ignored that. They're caught up in the trap. They don't want to have a conversation. They're like, what do I do? That's what they want to hear.
Don't let the union get away with it.
When we come back, also Trey's got a sports update for us. Family, you want to join this conversation? If you're being pushed out of your job, it doesn't have to be a federal job, reach out to us at 800-450-7876. Your calls will all be next.
I'm JV Bryan, the creator of AfroEconomics, a strategic financial empowerment program based on 10 timeless financial Incorporated, a registered investment advisory firm. #AfroEconomics.
D.C. leaders are painting a grim budget picture due to the ongoing federal job cuts. The city's CFO released a forecast on Friday that predicts deep budget deficits over the next 3 fiscal cycles. That includes a $21 million shortfall in the current fiscal year, followed by an average deficit of $342 million each year for 3 years. The loss of about 40,000 federal jobs will greatly cut the amount of income tax revenue collected by the city. A D.C. cop has been placed on leave after an off-duty shooting. Investigators say the unidentified detective was involved in a fight following a crash on Potomac Avenue Southeast early Saturday and fired a service weapon at the other driver, wounding him. Some Howard University students have begun a week-long spring break dedicated to community service. About 1,300 students are taking part in the 32nd edition of the school's alternative spring break. Some will take on service projects in the DMV, while others will travel to cities and towns in more than a dozen states. The Commanders are adding a weapon to their offense. Washington traded a fifth-round pick to the Niners on Saturday for wide receiver Deebo
to reduce
Samuel.
taxes or get rid of taxes on Social Security, but
league year starts. Samuel had 51 receptions
changes.
for 670 yards and 3 TDs last season.
You never know.
I'm Earl Kirk. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to newsone.com.
We'll
Are you
see.
behind on your taxes?
May not
You're not
happen.
alone. Americans have been hit with a triple punch. Businesses and paychecks slashed by the pandemic, record inflation, and soaring interest rates have left people across the nation stuck with serious tax problems. But the past does
I would
not
love
have to
to
be
see
your
that happen.
future. A fresh start can begin with a simple phone
I would
call
love to
Optima
see
Tax Relief, America's
livable
#1 tax
wages.
resolution firm. Their tax attorneys and licensed professionals specialize in powerful taxpayer
I would love
assistance
to
programs
see
that can save
child
you
tax
thousands if you
credits
qualify.
like given
Having
during the
resolved over
year
$1 billion
instead of
in tax
people
debt
waiting
for
until the
their
end of the
clients, their
year.
track record says it all. IRS penalties and
Like
interest on
those
unpaid taxes compound daily.
earned
So don't
income
wait.
tax
Let
credits like
Optima's award-winning team help you
during
get back on
COVID.
your feet and back onto the right side
It
of the
helped a
IRS.
lot.
Call now for a
Reduced
free consultation.
Call 800
hungry
569
children a lot.
4435. 800 569 4435. 800 569 4435.
And it's like we just
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or flight stopped. Opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
You've lost so much weight. How'd you do
It
it?
is
I got
amazing.
medical treatment for weight loss through Zelty and lost 50 pounds. I struggled for the longest time, but Zelty makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelty providers can prescribe FDA-approved weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight, like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others. I've heard those medications can help you lose weight, but aren't they
No,
expensive?
sometimes.
Zelty can help get the medication covered by insurance, so it's as little as $0 a month. What if you don't have insurance? No problem. Zelty may be able to help you get other GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% off the price of name brand medications. I'm ready to start losing weight. How do I get started with Zelty? Just text.
Text SMILE to 200-300 to get started today with Zelty and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy and Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text SMILE to 200-300. That's SMILE to 200-300. SMILE to 200-300.
Bring Natalia Esquire, Slater Schulman, LLP. Attorney Advertising is responsible for this ad.
Attention, former childhood residents of juvenile detention centers in Maryland. If you were housed at either Charles Hickey School, Backbone Mountain Youth Center, Thomas Waxter Detention Center, Cheltenham Youth Detention Center, or any other juvenile detention center at any time in the past and were a victim of sexual abuse, now is the time to come forward, as you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Maryland Department of Juvenile Services faced complaints about rampant sexual abuse for decades and failed to protect youth inmates in these facilities. If you are housed at a Maryland youth facility at any time and were subjected to any sexual misconduct from staff members, you may be entitled to substantial cash compensation. Call our Maryland Juvenile Detention Helpline now at 800-285-3502. The deadline to file a claim is close. Call now to get the justice, closure, and the financial settlement you deserve. No matter how many decades ago it was, call our law firm's Juvenile Detention Sexual Abuse Helpline right now at 800-285-3502. 800-285-3502. 800-285-3502.
Now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
And Grand Rising family, thanks for waking up with us on this Monday morning, the third day of March. It's Women's History Month, and we started with one of our dynamic women. She's a financial advisor, J.B. Bryan, giving some advice for folks who may have lost their jobs or may lose their jobs today. Elon Musk is giving them a deadline to report, to give them what they've done, the 5 things they've done over the last few days, and some of them haven't done it, and some of them are just going to pack up and leave. So JB's got some tips for those folks. What's their next move? And those who maybe have missed her earlier, what she told everybody to have an emergency fund. But before we go back to JB, Trey's joined us. Got to look at the sports. Grand Rising, Trey.
Good morning, Carl. What's going on, my brother? Definitely good to hear from you, man. Look, Talk to Trey checking in here, man, with the Talk to Trey Sports Report. Now, look, bro, I know you've been hearing me talking the other day about Fight Night that went down this weekend, man. And I have to make a public apology to Mr. Lamont Roach himself. Okay, look, sir, I was unfamiliar with your game. Okay, we've been seeing Tank say I haven't seen anybody stand up and go toe-to-toe with Javante Tank Davis the way I saw Lamont Roach do on Saturday night, man. Look, now this was not only a great fight, a controversial fight, and, you know, what can make a great fight even greater other than a little bit of controversy, right? Apparently, Javante Tank Davis went away with not the victory, but they went away with a majority draw from this fight, and Tank had this controversial moment where he took a knee in the middle of the fight, which is supposed to be a knockdown, okay? But he didn't take it off of a punch, which made it very confusing for the people that was watching, made it confusing for the referees, and I'm sure it's confusing for the people on the scorecards, okay? But he ended up speaking about, what made him take that knee after the fight, and apparently he is blaming it on hair grease. All right. And when he said that in the crowd, man, everybody started booing him. And, they said, Tank didn't like that. He said, y'all can turn on me now. And, Lamont Roach came out at the end of the fight and said, look, man, if it was anybody else, that would have been a knockdown. He feels like he won the fight. But if you ask me, man, I think it was a great fight. I think Tank lost the fight. But I don't know if Roach necessarily won the fight. But, they setting up the rematch, man, so that's a beautiful thing, man. So shout out to Lamont Roach. He held it down for the DMV. And shout out to Tank, too, man. Hopefully we can get a definitive winner in the next fight. But, speaking of the DMV, a huge Commanders fan here, and we just added another toy for Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels, okay? We have traded our 5th-round pick for Deebo Samuel, okay? Now, there's been a lot of weird stuff going on with Deebo Samuel for the last couple of years or so in San Francisco. He's made it very clear that he doesn't really want to be there. They made it very clear that they don't really want to pay him. He's gotten out of shape. He looked like James Harden in a fat suit when he was in Houston. But, man, maybe he takes the big mama suit off when he comes here to D.C. because he'll be in a contract year. I expect him to be on his best behavior, and we can be competing for a championship next year. So maybe, hopefully, I pray that we get the best version of Deebo Samuel. And last but not least, the Los Angeles Lakers, man, okay? Look, shout out to Adam Silver. He said the ratings were down. We got to do what we got to do. We got Luka Doncic to L.A., baby, okay? And the Lakers have won 6 games in a row and are now the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, okay? LeBron said, look, I'm getting these couple rings before I get up out of here, man. If y'all want to hear me talk more about sports, man, make sure you listen to my show, man, every Sunday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on WO 1450 News Talk, where information is power. This is the Talk Dre Sports Report. I'll let you later, Carl.
All right, thanks, Trey. 13 away from the top here. JB Bryan is with us, and JB Bryan is broadcasting all across social media. I'm trying to help some folks here this morning. And JB, again, for the folks who don't have an emergency fund, you've been saying this for years. Now they find themselves on the outside looking in. What can you tell them? What should they be doing? What's the first thing they should be doing this morning?
Cut expenses. Cut things. If you don't have a job and you have a car payment, it could be a good time. And a lot of people work from home anyway. So, and they're looking for another job to work from home. So, get rid of the car payment. Get rid of something. But you have to be willing to sacrifice if you lose it. You have to have priorities. Housing is your top priority. Maybe your housing costs too much. It might be time to sell your home if your home is not the house that you need anymore. I just did a workshop on that. Is your house an asset or a liability? So we need to get together and talk about your priorities and make sure that you're willing to cut. But a person who is not willing to answer 5 questions to save their job is not willing to cut expenses. I don't see that person having the same mindset. Like, call me humble, but I think entrepreneurship makes you humble. So if you want some lessons in humility, reach out to me, jbbryan.com, because when you want your job, you are humble. When you want to build that business, you are humble.
Let me jump in here and answer this question, yes. JB. Because you talked about housing.
Yes.
Would you advise people to move back in with moms?
Definitely.
At this time, if you lost your job?
I mean, if they don't think they're going to be able to get a job soon, they might wait. But if they don't have any emergency fund, they really don't have any choice. I don't advocate going and calling on other people to get money. Like, I'm glad you're going to be talking about that situation in the White House, because I put this comment on Facebook That's the way people treat you when they don't like you, but they still need money from you. So don't go asking people for money. If you haven't saved and you've been big time and flexing all your career, and now you in a situation, this chicken come home to roost. Like, you are seeing how you have treated people, and that's why you don't have, that type of person to be asking for money from. Like, we have to realize that everybody has a lesson that they have to learn in life. If this is your opportunity to learn that, yeah, I should have been saving, but I kept buying the Louis Vuitton, and I kept wanting to go on the cruise every month, and I kept wanting to, get this guy put this post up about this $800 t-shirt. And he was saying that, men waste money. I never really thought about that. I've never met a man that wears an $800 t-shirt. There are so many things that you're probably wasting money on, and that this is an opportunity to totally restructure yourself. Like, it's basically like going through a late divorce. They call it like a gray divorce. Like, you're divorcing where you work. You might have been there 20 years. You haven't been there 30 years, so you can't retire or something. You might not qualify for retirement. But there are a lot of people who are in a position to move on, and it's the best thing for them, but they won't do it because their mind is telling them that they can't do it. And so I think, if anything, it's good to talk to a professional about that. But if you're not ready for someone positive to tell you that you can do it and what you're capable of, I'm probably not a match for you, because I know what I'm made of, and I know that I could get through something like that. But if you don't not sure, and then you're going to have it easy to find someone who will tell you you can't make it, they're horrible, this is the worst thing, don't answer those 5 questions, keep your car till they come get it, don't do that. There's a whole bunch of that. That's the majority. The minority has already answered.
Let's take a look at the car thing then. If you have a car note, how do you deal with that? You don't have a job, you can't make the car note. Do you turn the car in?
That's right.
And take the loss, or what are you doing? Start taking public transportation?
Yes.
How do you handle that, JB?
It's not your car. It's not your car. If you're still making payments on it, it's not your car. Someone else owns the car. The bank owns the car. That's their vehicle. And that's what we have to realize, even with the house. That's not your house. If you still have a payment on it, that's not your house. That's their house. So if you can't afford to live in the house that the lending institution is allowing you to live in, or afford the car, give the car, the house back to them. Because the people that can afford to live in that are the people who answer the 5 questions a long time ago. It's done. It's a done deal. They don't care about Elon. They care about their family, their house, their car.
JB, it's 7 minutes away from the top of the hour. How long do you think this ripple effect's going to, because some people who are still working, but again, the people who are not working, who've lost their jobs, obviously they're not going to the cleaners, they're not buying as much food as they are, not going to the movies, and that's going to, the ripple effect, economic ripple effect is going to go right through the entire country. How long do you think that's going to take place where it affects everybody's affected by this?
Always. There's always been a ripple effect. The last administration stopped sending earned income tax credit to mothers and custodial parents, and they said there was a direct reflect on the increase in children not having enough food. That's it. There is not a livable wage in the United States of America. The minimum wage is extremely far below a livable wage. We know these things. There is always a ripple effect. When people don't have a livable wage, when people can't feed their children, you're going to see an increase in crime. You're going to see an increase in parents having to give up because can't keep their children. You're going to see an increase in broken families because they can't figure out what to do. Now that, To me, if this mom only had 5 questions to answer and get her earned income money back through the year, I think she'd answer those 5 questions. But there is always going to be a ripple effect of what is happening. If you have decided that your ripple is worse than everyone else, then you have to deal with that. Then you have to deal with that. If you can't see how blessed you are for as long as you were, and that change happens, things happen. Let me reach out and talk to Bryan. Let me talk to a financial professional. Let me get involved in AfroEconomics. It has a free membership, and just talk to like-minded people that are progressive and want to move forward. But is it the end of the world? I'm healthy. I got a job. I'm healthy. I just lost my job. Is it the end of the world? Come on. We know it's not. We are descendants of slaves. I know I am. So whenever I feel like what I'm going through is real, I remember that Harriet Tubman did not stop to explain herself, because with a whole bunch of people that didn't think she could help them. She kept on moving. So we got to keep on moving. And I want to help everybody who wants to keep on moving. That's me.
Yeah. So that's that's what we're discussing this morning. What do we do for those folks who? Because they may not have heard you years ago when you told everybody you should have an emergency fund. For those who don't have one, is it too late to start one?
No, yes, it is.
Months away.
You got to get a job. You got to get a job. Do you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to get my next job. I'm going to get my next client every day. I'm growing my business every day. 30 years deep in this. 30 plus in financial services every day. I have to get a new job every day. So all you have to do, you don't have a savings account. What do? You get another job. You get another job. You do something to create income. You do it, what only thing it requires.
But JB, at 4 away from the top, if they're going to be competing with thousands of people at the same time, we're listening to us this morning who don't have a job, and everybody's going out now trying to get that other job or find another way to get another income to replace the money that they usually come in. So the competition is going to be a lot much stiffer than it was last year.
Then they should have.
What did they do?
They should have started already, but you better go get it. If you want a job, go get the job. Get the job. It might not be the one exactly that you want, but if you want a job, go get the job. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? It really comes down to that. It's as simple as that. Like, you want what you want. Yeah, that is nice. That is nice. We all want exactly what we want. I want a lot of things, but I'm making the best out of the cards that God gave me. What you got? You got good health. You got connections. You got history. You got a resume. You got what you got. Use that. Stop worrying about everybody else and get the job. Get it. I mean, sometimes less is more. Sometimes people are gonna have to step back to start over.
Right there, JB. We got to take another quick break, but stay with us. Folks, you want to join this conversation, reach out to us at 800-450-7876. Your calls are next.
Washington area traffic on the web at
I'm JB Bryan, the creator of AfroEconomics, a strategic financial empowerment program based on 10 timeless financial principles like generational wealth and legacy, financial knowledge, credit confidence, entrepreneurship, self-reliance, and more. AfroEconomics gives you the guidance and tools you can use to develop and sustain wealth. Check out AfroEconomics on your favorite social media platforms. You will find us everywhere. Plus, enjoy my weekly AfroEconomics podcast. There are many levels of AfroEconomics membership, including the free online access membership level called No Excuses. So make no excuses and check out AfroEconomics.com today. Powered by JB Bryan Financial Group, Incorporated, a registered investment advisory firm. #AfroEconomics.
cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out, because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-279-6822. 800-279-6822. 800-279-6822.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Radio 1 presents Boss Talk, connecting with CEOs in the DMV.
My name is Kiana McBride. I am your favorite CEO and founder of several businesses in the DMV. Entrepreneurship has always been a dream of mine. As a young child, I knew I wanted to live financially free. I didn't have people around me that owned businesses growing up. So I am literally the first in my family to do so. So it all started with a dream. Every business that I own and operate connects with the community. We are community-based. The community becomes our family, if it's childcare or if it's at the restaurant Mary Lou's. We have community events. We give back to the community. We bring the community out in a lot of aspects.
This is Boss Talk, inspiration from CEOs right here in the DMV.
Want to call into the Carl Nelson Show? Sure, no problem. Only one phone call per week, please. This is to give other callers a chance to chime in. We thank you for understanding.
1450 WOL, Washington, D.C. 95.9 W240DJ, WMMJ HD3, WDCJ-FM HD3, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
The Carl Nelson Show. You're rocking with the most ultimate. All right, let's go. Keep
And Rising family, happy Monday to you. It's 2 after the top there of Dr. Dawood Malik Watts, a DC activist, Afrocentric professor, is on deck. We'll get to him momentarily. Let's wrap up with JB Bryan, though. She's a financial advisor. Charles III in Washington, D.C. on line 2 has a question for JB. Charles, Grand Rising, brother. JB Bryan.
Taking my call. JB, I hear you suggesting a couple of things that sound pretty extreme to me. And so what I like to do is bring a little balance back to there. You advocated people sell their homes.
No, I didn't.
Sell their
No,
cars.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
I
he
just heard you say that.
He
now,
said if they
my
can't,
radio's not cooperating.
exactly. If they can't pay their bills, they don't have a choice, and it's better than the bank taking it from them.
Okay, may I
But
add
Charles,
what
that's
I
not
wanted to
extreme. That's called reality. If you can't afford it, they will come and get it.
May I finish what I had to say?
Okay.
Okay.
But don't call me extreme, because I know I'm not extreme. What I am is a realist, and I deal with real people every day. And I don't like to see people's homes taken from them.
Because we're running late. So give him a chance to finish his question or his comment for you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Brother Carl. Okay, back in the 08-09 crisis, what some advisors were recommending to people who may have lost their jobs and had homes, bring in boarders, tenants, rent out rooms so you can keep your house to help you offset your bills. And another situation, I knew of a person who rented out her home as she moved into a small efficiency until she got back on her feet. I think what you're going to see is a lot of the people scaring our people to put the homes on the markets, which are going to drive their prices down. So I think before we become emotional or extreme, we have to start thinking things through.
But you're
and
being
just one final point I'd
extreme.
like to make.
But you're being the extreme.
Okay,
That would be extreme.
Because we're
I mean, like, but you're right. But you're
I'll
right.
let you respond.
I mean, I
Okay,
appreciate
one final thing I'd like to recommend also is because there are people who work 20, 25 years with the government or other jobs. Equally important is those people have accumulated TSP accounts or 401k plans. They need to be very careful with predators calling them with suggestions. They need to check around and not just talk to one financial professional, but talk to 2 or 3, because not every professional will have their best interest at heart. And I say in these emotional times, it does not require us to do emotional actions, because when we react emotionally, usually those are not the best decisions. And I'm going to take your response off the air.
I agree, Charles, that emotion is not best. And I definitely believe that this is a time to develop a relationship with a registered investment advisory firm. That's what AfroEconomics, JB Bryan Financial Group is. That's something that Charles didn't mention. And registered investment advisors are required to only suggest, legally required to only suggest what is in the best interest of the client. So we do need to start developing relationship with registered investment advisors. I know that my firm is one of the few still in the nation and one of the first ever developed to focus on individual Black investors. So I do feel that he brought up a good point
because
about
we're running out of
fear.
time here. How can folks reach you real quick?
1-844-JBBRYAN. And I apologize if I did not fully communicate that staying out of an emotional state is the point. Don't allow fear to F you up at this point in your life. It is time, and that's what I was saying. It is time to talk to a financial professional and talk to as many as you want, but it would be even better if you already have a relationship. Thank you.
Thanks, JB.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts and advice this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. All right now.
All right. 8 minutes at the top. Dr.
Y'all. I see y'all. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Time flies. I appreciate y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great week. Bye-bye.